Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Mostly Programming. My name is Vivek Garg and this is lesson 13 of learning Python scripting from scratch. In today's video, we are going to discuss for loops in Python. So without any further ado, let's get started. But before that, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do that right now because it's free. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss an update from Mostly Programming. Also follow us on Instagram. It is @mostlyprogramming with a single M. We come up with new quizzes and practice sessions on a daily basis. So follow us there. Let's get started with today's video. The scope of today's lesson is we are going to discuss for loops or a looping journal, the syntax for for loop, the range function, nested loops, and some example scripts written in Python. Let's go to PyCharm and see how does a loop work. But before that, I must tell you what a for loop is. A for loop basically iterates over a sequence of values. The sequence may be a list, a tuple, a dictionary, or a set, or even a string. In today's video, we are going to discuss only the strings because we have not discussed all the other data types. But in the upcoming videos, we will be iterating over all the data types that are there in Python. So basically a loop is what? Basically iteration. So a loop iterates over a sequence of values. So I'm going to write the basic syntax here. For example, for the variable name, suppose I'm giving it x I'm giving a string here, suppose banana. Then I'm going to write a colon here. It is automatically intended. Then I'm simply going to print the variable x. So now let's see the output. Stop and rerun. Yeah. So as you can see on the terminal here on the run prompt here, that BANANA is printed. That means using a for loop, we basically iterated over the whole string using the syntax of the for loop. So for is the keyword here. X here is the variable name. You can use A, B, C, D, any variable name that you want, or even a proper word. For example, iterator. In whatever string you want to iterate, pass it in the double quotes and a colon, then simply print it. This is the most basic example of using for loops. Let's see some more example. For I in range, sorry, we have not discussed the range function yet. So for I in other string, I am Vivek Garg. So I just wrote a random string and I'm going to run it. Okay, so I have not written the complete statement yet. Let me just do it. Print I. Let me run this now. So you can see that I am Vivek Garg. All the characters are now individually accessed and are printed. I am Vivek Garg. Right? So this is the basics about how we can use a for loop to iterate over a string and print those values, those characters individually. Let me show you an example with the list now. You don't know what a list is, but let me just show you an example. We will be discussing list later in the course itself. So let me just name it list1. I'm naming the variables like this, list2 and list3. Let me just now run it. So we can see that the elements of the list are now individually accessed and print here. List1, list2 and list3. Similarly, we can do with the dictionaries or tuples or sets or any other data type, which is a sequence. So I hope the basic syntax or the basic purpose of a for loop is now clear to you. Let us move on to the next topic now, which is the range function. So if you must know what was the syntax of using a for loop in C or C++, we used to write it like this. For integer I the initialization, then the condition, suppose 45, then the updation, that is the increment or decrement. We used to write the for loop like this, right? Here, this was used to define the range 0 to 45. Here we use the range function to define the range for the for loop, right? Let's write it for I, which is a variable name, in range. So simply in the parenthesis I will write the range. Suppose I want to start it from 0 to 45, then a colon, then print I, and we are done. So let's just run the program. So you will see that 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 44, all the numbers are printed. So the range is from 0 to 45. So all the elements would be printed till 45 minus 1. That is the upper limit minus 1. The same used to happen while using the for loops in C or C++. If we are using less than sign, then minus 1 would be the upper limit. Similarly here, 0 to 45, if the range is 0 to 45, 0 to 44, all the numbers would be printed. Okay, now here we are decrementing with just 1. But what if we want to, incrementing with just 1. What if we want to increment with say 2 or 3 or 5? How can we do that? Pretty simple, we just have to write a third parameter here, suppose 5. Then the incrementing would be of 5. Now a table of 5 is printed here, 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So this is the lower limit where we want to start from. This is the upper limit, and this is the step size or the incrementing size. What if I change it? Let me check. 45 to 0, then minus 5. Would it work? Let's see. Yes, you can even create a decrementing loop like that. So we started from 45, 40, 35, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. But you will see that 0 is not printed because it is always the upper limit minus the step size. So up to 5 we have all the numbers that are printed using for loop. There are so many applications of for loop, or any while writing the Python script, we'll be discovering all the applications of this for loop or the while loop in the upcoming videos itself. So I hope the basic concept of the for loop and the range function is now clear. Let us see the next topic, which is the nested loops. Basically, what do we mean by nested loop is that a loop inside a loop. Now, how can we write that? Let's see. For I in range, range 0 to 5, colon, then here I am writing print I. Okay, so then inside the for loop I am writing another for loop for say z in range 0 to 3. I want to print z. So this is a nested loop. Let's see how it works. Okay, so we'll just observe the output now. 0 here is from the upper loop, and then this complete loop iterates. That means 0, 1, 2 is printed, then the control is back to the upper loop, then 1 is printed, then again the lower loop is printed, 0, 1, 2, then 2 is printed from this one, then 0, 1, 2 again, as you can see here. Then again the same cycle proceeds until the loop terminates, the condition is false. Basically the loop moves out of range. Let me just change some values here. For example, I am doing it from 1 to 4 and this from 20 to 23. This will make you understand it a little easier. Yeah. So basically here the upper loop, this loop, right, it is printing the first value, which is 1. Then the lower loop is incrementing 20, 21, 22. Then the control is back to the upper loop, then 2 is printed, then again 20, 21, 22, then 3 is printed, then 20, 21, 22. That's basically how a nested loop works. If you know how a basic loop works in C or C++ programming, this is very easy for you to understand. If you don't know how a basic loop works, I'll suggest you to just Google it and you will see some flowcharts that will help you to understand how a for loop works. This is the basic syntax of a nested loop in Python itself. Let's see some more examples. For I in, let me take a string here, say banana, overall string, banana, print I. Then inside this I'm going to create another loop for a in range, for a in a string, say very, print a. Now you will observe that one character from the upper loop is printed and all the characters from the lower loop is printed, then one character from the upper loop is printed and all the characters from the lower loop is printed. Let's run it, and yes, we can see here B is printed, then very is printed, then A is printed, then very is printed, then N is printed and very is printed, and so on. That means this loop is printing one by one. That means basically we are using these loops in a nested form. The upper loop prints its first character, then the lower loop prints its first, second, third and fourth character, and then the control goes back to the upper loop and then the second character of that loop is printed, then all the 4 from this, then again the third, all 4, fourth, all 4, and similarly the for loop terminates till the end. Terminates when the all the characters are, or it moves out of range. So I hope the concept of for loop, the basic for loop is clear. There is lot more to for loops with all the other data types that we are going to see in the upcoming videos. I hope the basic concept is now clear to you guys. If you have any queries, feel free to ask me in the comment section below, or you can even DM me on my social media accounts. The link to those will be in the description itself. Follow us on Instagram. It is @mostlyprogramming with the single M. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Also share with your friends and subscribe to my channel, because your subscription, likes, comments and shares give me motivation to make more such videos. Thank you very much for watching.